The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning. It is 5 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. I'm Alex Fisher along with Nicole Gitsky. Maddie Jansen has the day off, spending some time with family. And here we go. It's going to be, and again, we're kind of inching closer to those triple digits. Although I will say yesterday, not too bad outside.
It's not, but you can definitely feel the difference from last week to this week. I walked outside yesterday afternoon. I was like, ooh, it's kind of hot out, muggy, It just feels different.
Yeah.
Even in the morning, it's been a lot warmer, but once we hit triple digits, we're looking at 80 degrees as a low.
I know. It's real. That's what is really the sticker shock there, right there. And Kevin Charette was talking about when we were going to run our ACs yesterday, and sure enough, he was right on with the times. Late morning, early afternoon is when my AC finally kicked on.
Yeah, and the temperatures really were not bad yesterday, lower 90s. We're going to be in that category today before we really start to see that summer heat approach. Right now, we're comfortable out there into the clear skies, 67 degrees in Bakersfield. We've got a light wind out of the northwest at 7. And if you are a runner, here's a look at our running forecast for today. We are going to be dealing with the heat, and you can see from 5 a.m. to about 11 a.m. we're in the good category. We're in fair category at 1 o'clock, and then from 3 to about 8, that's where we're going to be seeing those 90s. So just take it easy if you are going to be out and about doing that run. Here's a look at the hour by hour, 72 degrees by 9 a.m. And then as we approach right around 3 o'clock, we're going to be in the upper 80s. And then out of Tehachapi, the sun is coming up right now. We've got a temperature of 57, a west wind at 7 miles per hour. Hour by hour here, we'll be in the mid 70s by 11 a.m. and some 80s out there, maybe even a few clouds drifting in as well. We'll talk about the reason why coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Today is a landmark day for Californians as we turn the corner on how we respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. After 15 months of shutdowns, the state officially reopened overnight. People inside this LA club did a New Year's Eve style countdown to celebrate the reopening. At midnight, the state dropped the color-coded tier system and abandoned most of its pandemic restrictions. Capacity limits in businesses are dropped starting today, so no more physical distancing and no more mask requirements for vaccinated people at restaurants and gyms. In most situations, individual businesses can still make their own decision whether to require masks inside the business. Amusement parks like Disneyland will also reopen to all guests, but masks will still be required for people who are not vaccinated. So-called mega events, those with 5,000 or more people, will still require masks, and indoor events will require proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. And there will still be places everyone will be required to wear a mask, like public transit and schools. And while many restrictions are coming to an end, the push to get more Americans vaccinated is far from over. NBC's Dan Shinneman has the latest.
California, the nation's most populous state, lifting most COVID restrictions, physical distancing and occupancy limits, done.
Honestly, the feeling is just excitement.
Vermont also lifting restrictions. The state the first to have at least one dose of vaccine in more than 80% of residents.
I think it's extraordinary that Vermont was able to do this when so many other states haven't even come close.
And there is more good news about vaccines. A new study by British researchers says both the Pfizer-BioNTech and AstraZeneca vaccines are effective against the Delta variant, the variant first identified in India. While vaccine is available, the number of vaccinated Americans is rising slowly. Some are still hesitant.
I don't know. I just don't really think I'm need it.
President Biden in Brussels urging Americans to get vaccinated.
We have more work to do to beat this virus. And now's not the time to let our guard down. So please get vaccinated as soon as possible.
The push to get more shots into more arms goes on. Dan Shenneman, NBC News.
Governor Gavin Newsom appeared in San Francisco yesterday to provide an update on where California stands as it fully reopens, along with a new vaccine incentive. The governor says because of everyone's resilience during the lockdowns and stay-at-home orders, we are able to safely reopen. The governor says more than 70% of the state has had at least one dose of the vaccine. Newsom also announced another incentive to get the shot, a dream vacation.
Floor seats at a Lakers game that include, as an example, Disneyland, Legoland, SeaWorld, opportunities not just only to stay at that Ritz-Carlton down in Palm Springs, but opportunity to stay at hotels up here, Symphony down south, a series of spectacular items and packages and experiences, including culinary experiences that really highlight the best of California.
There will be 6 travel packages in total, and the drawing for those will be on July 1st. The governor also traveled to Monterey, where he handed out $50 prepaid grocery gift cards to newly vaccinated people as part of the state's incentive program. The final Vax for the Win cash prize drawing is today. 10 lucky Californians who have gotten the shot will win $1.5 million. And there are still vaccines available for anyone 12 and older who wants one. You can find your nearest vaccine clinic and sign up for an appointment by heading to the state's website, myturn.ca.gov. You can also call that number on your screen, 833-422-4255. And here's a look at the latest numbers in Kern County. Public Health announced 13 new cases yesterday and no new deaths. Kern County's COVID-19 death toll stands at 1,400. State data shows 24 people are hospitalized this morning. 8 of them are being treated in the ICU.
First Congregational Church in Bakersfield is hosting a food giveaway this week to help people in need in our community. It's tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. in the church parking lot on Real Road. This is video from a previous giveaway event. For more information about the giveaway, just contact the church at 327-1609. Meantime, the summer heat is back, but there are a lot of people in Kern County who may not be able to afford the soaring power bills that come with running expensive air conditioning units. Others may not have AC at all. And that's why we are teaming up once again this year with the Volunteer Center of Kern County to hold our annual fan drive. Please bring a new fan or a cash donation to Compassion Corner outside our studios at 22nd and L Streets tomorrow. We will be accepting your donations all day from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. The fans will be given to local seniors to help them keep cool during these scorching temperatures. You know, again, that is so important, especially right now, because we're talking about those temperatures that Kevin will talk about coming up in just a bit. Some of the hottest temperatures that we've seen in more than a year. So incredibly important that you come out tomorrow to help out our most vulnerable as they deal with this heat wave.
Yeah, and I think we forget not everyone has AC here, so it's important to check in on them.
Absolutely.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Welcome back. 24 hours before his high-stakes summit with Russia's president, President Biden meets with European leaders today. Tracy Potts has more on what to expect from today's meeting.
Nicole, good morning. Good morning, everyone. President Biden calls Vladimir Putin a worthy adversary. He's going into this meeting tomorrow with the backing of U.S. allies and a warning. President Biden joins a half-day summit today with European leaders talking trade, climate change, and the pandemic. One last show of unity before coming face-to-face tomorrow with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I'm going to make clear to President Putin that there are areas where we can cooperate if he chooses. And if he chooses not to cooperate and acts in a way that he has in the past relative to cybersecurity and some other activities, then we will respond.
Putin, in an exclusive interview with NBC, denies allegations that Russia is behind cyber attacks and election interference.
Where is the evidence? Where is proof? It's becoming farcical. We know it well. We have been accused of all kinds of things: election interference, cyber attacks, and so on and so forth.
Critics worry the Putin meeting sends the wrong message.
He's not going into this summit and this particular meeting with Putin from a position of strength, but rather of weakness, because he's already given him so many concessions.
U.S. allies are also concerned about China.
China's military buildup, growing influence and coercive behavior also poses some challenges to our security.
President Biden calls the NATO alliance rock solid against Russia and China, a show of democracy on the world stage.
The 30 NATO countries have come up with a plan to deal with aggression from Russia and China. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
Now to overnight travel troubles as Southwest Airlines was forced to ground its flights temporarily last night, leaving thousands stranded in packed airports. The company said it was due to an issue with its weather data provider. Around 1,400 flights were delayed because of the issue, setting off a barrage of complaints from travelers on social media. Images showed packed airports in Phoenix and Las Vegas while people waited to board their flights. And in San Diego, dozens of people were spotted rebooking tickets for flights. Southwest says it was working to get travelers to their destinations as quickly as possible following that ground stop. Meantime, a huge fire erupted at a chemical plant in Illinois yesterday, forcing evacuations within a mile of the facility. This morning, that fire is still burning. Just take a look at this. Dozens of crews responded to the massive fire in Rockton, Illinois. The 4-alarm fire broke out at about 7 a.m. at the Chem Tool manufacturing plant. Huge plumes of thick black smoke could be seen from at least 25 miles away. All employees were evacuated safely. It's still unclear what caused the fire.
The college graduation is marked with celebrations and pictures, and one California graduate used her photos to honor the parents who encouraged her to follow her dreams. 21-year-old Jennifer Rocha says she started working in the strawberry fields with her parents when she was a junior in high school. She describes leaving cross-country practice at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, going home to eat and change, and then leaving to plant strawberries until the early hours of the morning. Rocha says her parents, immigrants from Mexico, had worked in the fields from the age of 6 or 7. Rocha says, quote, "For all the Latinos out there, just keep working hard and making your parents proud, and don't forget where you came from."
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. As small businesses work to rebound from COVID-19, some stores have stayed afloat by getting even smaller. Yona Gavino talked to the owner of a cupcake shop who came up with the strategy to survive by downsizing.
It's been a bumpy year for Keith Fluellen, the owner of Fluellen Cupcakes.
Well, I am the baker right now, but as a business owner, you have to be able to do everything.
COVID-19 forced him to close 2 other stores. He baked up the idea to keep his downtown Dallas location open and move employees like Judith Salazar here.
So it's caused you to kind of look at your business model and make sure you're doing everything efficiently.
Business has rebounded to 70%, enough to bump up pay to $15 an hour to help employees and their families.
What I found out is this were their only household income because their parents and the other people in the household, their jobs were terminated because of the pandemic.
Paul Nichols says things like consumer spending and government relief will help the economy creep back to pre-pandemic levels.
All the indications are this is going to be a good long-term trend. There's still going to be a lot of troubles as we navigate our way through this new forest, but everything's moving in the right direction.
A direction Fluellen hopes leads to more spending at small businesses like his.
Small businesses do have a big impact on the economy.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.